Kidnapped twice in Libya. They managed to cross the Mediterranean and finally made it to Italy. Some people save for years. Others take dangerous risks, all to escape the limits of this passport. It's not always about luxury. Sometimes it's about the freedom to choose. And when this can't give you that, some Nigerians find another way.
Tell me, where them born you?
Nigeria.
Tell me, where them born you?
Nigeria.
Because of austerity, you want to check out.
Oh no.
Because of economy, you want to run away.
You've heard it before. Just get a second passport. Sounds simple, right? Until you see the price tag. Some countries charge over 100,000 US dollars for you to become their citizen and get their passports. That's before flights, before paperwork and the other expenses. Some Nigerians like Tayo Aina made the move. He didn't wait. He paid for freedom. No more embassy queues, no more visa wahala, just movement.
With this, I was able to take a trip to the UK, and for the first time, I didn't need a visa.
I just passed through passport control and it took less than 10 seconds. This passport is magic.
For most people that can't afford to do that, they are still explaining themselves at borders. When someone gets a second passport, it's not just about travel. It's a big win and like a trophy in Nigeria. What would you do if your whole future is trapped inside the wrong passport? I know people who's gone to either the US or Canada to have their babies. And as far back in 2012, some people were paying 40,000 USD just to have a baby in the US. And this is just the hospital bill. It's not the rent they have to pay for the time they have to stay up until they have their babies. Some of them have the babies and just leave immediately. If you've watched Omoni Oboli's Anchor Baby, you'll see the stress some Nigerian women go through just to have a baby abroad. Because some of these families are not balling. It's not like they have too much money. They just want more for their child. They just want to give their child a fighting chance at life. That child won't need a visa to study, won't get stuck at borders, won't have to beg any system to let them in because their foreign passport is a ticket to almost anywhere in the world. All because of one thing, the place of birth. In Nigeria, when you hear people say somebody is a citizen, it just means they have a second, usually stronger passport. People save for land, others save to japa, but some, they save to give their child a chance their country never gave them. 2 babies born on the same day, but only one of them will travel through life light just because of their place of birth. If a foreign passport gives a fighting chance at life, what is the hope of the Nigerian child, some of whom may not even be able to afford the Nigerian passport?
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep.
We hear about Nigerians crossing the desert like it's just another japa route. But the Sahara Desert is not a road. It is a graveyard with no tombstones. Have you heard the stories of some of the survivors of the Sahara Desert? They say the sun doesn't just burn your skin, it dries your bones. You walk for hours, then days. No signs, no water, just sand that never ends. Your lips crack, your shoes melt, and when you fall, the desert doesn't care. It will cover you like you were never there. Some collapse, some are carried by traffickers, and sometimes when someone drops, nobody looks back. Because stopping could mean your own end. It's all mapped for yourself in the desert. And if they survive all that, Libya is waiting. So ask yourself, what will make someone risk this? Story time. I once had a neighbor, young guy, very hardworking, proper hustling kind of Nigerian guy. He was a welder. He didn't have much, but he made sure his mom and her children had food and a place to stay. This guy was very low-key, no nice clothes, No social life, just work, work, work. Then one day we didn't see him again. And later word came that he's on his way to Libya. And it's been over 20 years now. Nobody has heard from him again. His mother died, still hoping for his return. And the truth is, he didn't hate Nigeria. He wasn't lazy. He just wanted more for his family. And he's not the only one. Nigerians are still walking through the deserts, still crawling under fences, still squeezing into boats that can barely float. Despite all the stories about the journey to Libya, you would think they were running from war, but many are just running away from hopelessness. In Libya, some are kidnapped, others are sold like goods, and the ones who make it to Europe end up in refugee camps. And those who return back home, they sometimes return empty. No passports, no papers, and lots of trauma. I saw this comment on a documentary about migrants traveling through Libya to Europe. It was touching, and you ask yourself, why do people still do this? And even with this comment, you see that not every escape leads to freedom. Some leads to trauma. So the person shared that they were kidnapped twice in Libya. They managed to cross the Mediterranean and finally made it to Italy. And was Italy worth it for him at the end? But still, people go because the alternative, living in a place where hard work doesn't mean progress. Not everyone goes through the desert. Some try the paperwork route, claiming asylum in countries that seem safer. Like the retired Nigerian policeman and his wife that cooked up some fabulous story to gain asylum in Canada. And let's be honest, some people truly need asylum. For instance, during the EndSARS protests, some of the organizers had to flee Nigeria for their lives. But others, they are not running away from war or persecution. They just want a better life. And they start recycling stories we don't cast since 2006 that even the immigration officers can recite word for word. Simon Guobadia. Today he's super rich. Private jets, was married to Porsha from Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's living the soft life now. But if you judge by his lifestyle alone, you'd never guess his earlier hustle. Word on the street is that before all this fame, reality TV show, private jet and whatnot, Simon reportedly filed for asylum in the US, then went on to have multiple marriages with US citizens. Allegedly